Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Christina Puff, and if you're new here, welcome. Today we are going to be pouring this frontal facial life cast that we did. So if you are here, most likely you saw my life casting video, and if you haven't, let's check out that video here before we move on to this video, because I'm going to show you the process to do after you have a life cast. So if you'd like to see that, then please keep watching. Alright guys, so I have my wet paper towels that have been in here for about 10 minutes or so now. I'm going to prep this. It's quite easy to do this. So once you have your life cast, here's the front of it. All you have to really do is you want to fill these holes in with some clay or wet clay, whatever you have really lying around that's not going to really distort the life cast whatsoever. So I have some wet clay here. Literally do not need much. You can use any sort of clay, but you want to make sure it's not super hard because you don't want to distort the alginate inside and make the nose all like weird looking. So I'm just going to take little bits of clay. We're going to flip it around, and I'm just going to lightly push this in to the nostril and make sure to really tack it down. Same thing with the other side. Just push it in. And I like to really cover it good. Okay? So now it's covered. When you pull the wet paper towels out, you can see that it's filled those holes. I'm actually going to push it in a little bit more. Looks good to me. Okay. Make sure you cover your alginate while you're prepping your hydrocal. So we'll put this off to the side. Alright guys, I'm going to take you down here. This is where I keep all my hydrocal and my ultracal. So I'm going to pop the lid off my hydrocal. Hydrocal is a plaster of Paris-like material, where ultracal is more of a gypsum stone material. It's a lot harder, and that we will get into later once we make our corrections. Okay, can't get my lid off. That's okay. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to scoop up and pour. That's probably more than enough, but hey, better be safe than sorry. What you then need to do is take a clean bowl and fill it with lukewarm water. Now there is technical terms of temperatures that you have to use. I believe water for hydrocal has to be, I think, 68 degrees, between 68 and like 90. I'm pretty sure. Let me just check. So I now have my water in my bowl here. It's kind of like lukewarm cold. I like to use cool water in certain situations because it definitely slows down the process. So in this case, I'm going to be using some lukewarm cold water. So what we have to do, essentially, is you have to slowly sift your hydrocal into your water. You do not just dump your water into your hydrocal. That would be silly. So we are going to slowly sift this hydrocal into the water, and then do not touch it whatsoever with your hands, okay? You're going to let it soak up the plaster until it has a wet bed-like consistency on top. Now once you start mixing this with your hands, you will start to agitate it, and then it will start to set up. That's when it starts setting up. So it will not set up until you start mixing it, okay? Food for thought. See how it has a very dry, like, desert look to it? That's kind of what you want. And you don't want to touch it until it's all kind of dried up. All the dry spots are wet and river-like looking. I'm going to start mixing it, guys. So the reason you do this is so that there's less clumps. It kind of like absorbs all the water, and it makes it easier and more smooth and consistent to work with. I definitely need to get new hydrocal because I've had that stuff in there for a while at the bottom there, so it's probably not the best. You definitely don't want to like have materials just laying around for like years at a time. Like the bottom of that stuff has probably been there for a while, so I'm gonna eventually just get some new stuff and probably leave them in the bags, because this floor, who knows if there's moisture coming up from the floor too. So we have a very, very nice consistency. I love that. Perfect. So now we're going to take our paper towels out. We're going to start slowly pouring this in here. Now you can use a chip brush if you want, but I just like using my hands, making sure everything's covered. And you can also take your finger, just be very careful, making sure it's down into the nose. This should start setting up. Alright guys, so I have finished pouring my hydrocal, making it all pretty, just trying to smooth it out as best as possible. Obviously, this is not going to be my finished final piece. I have to then correct this, make sure that there's no air bubbles that might have came from the life cast itself. And also too, it's always good to correct a life cast like this when you're doing prosthetics or anything like that, because you want to make sure you have that extra void in space to overlap prosthetics, because like I said, with the hairline, you know, I stopped at the hairline. If you want something that goes beyond the headline, you can actually sculpt beyond the headline, and then later when you apply a prosthetic, you can then put a bald cap on and actually extend that over past the hairline to give it a different effect. Same thing with the neck, you know, you can only go so far with the neck, but this way you have that ability to blend down even further to even possibly hide an edge seam line or whatever it may be. You can get more yield on a prosthetic piece when you correct it, if that makes sense to you. So I always correct my life casts pieces, especially for prosthetics on the face. Obviously, if you're doing a life cast just for fun, to then, I don't know, take this and then spray paint it, or like maybe it's for, you know, a woman's belly when she's pregnant, or just a facial prosthetic or facial life cast just for fun, or a hand of that some sort, then obviously you do not have to do that. You can take this piece once it's pulled and just, there you go, there's your finished product. But I will show you guys another video at another time when I correct this and show you all the steps and procedures that you need to do to correct it, because it's basically like doing the whole thing over again. So yeah, I'm gonna let this set up and then we'll be back and we'll pull it and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so my mold has completely cooled down and it is ready to be pulled. So let's pull it and see what it looks like. Alright guys, it took me a minute to get out, but I got it out and it looks really good. We have a kind of an air bubble. His nose actually looks really distorted for some reason. That's weird. Just on that side, that's weird. But I have a little air bubble right here that I can chip off and correct. I think it looks really good. I'm gonna have to clean it up and then we'll correct it. Alright guys, you got to see part 2 of the life casting process. So we got them all cleaned up, got all the air bubbles out and any imperfections. Now I'm going to correct this. And correcting is basically any imperfections that might need to be filled. His nose got a little distorted, so we're going to have to fix that. And also, I do like to build this up so it's nice and clean and flat, so you can work on it really nice and just even it out proportionally. So if you want to see how I correct it, then stay tuned for part 3 of this video, and once I'm finished with it, I will post it here for you guys, wherever above. I don't ever know which side it's on. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below in the comments, and I'd be happy to get back to you on them. If you haven't already, guys, though, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and like this video and show me some love. And I can't wait to see you on the next video. Bye, guys.